Hello, good morning, good morning. I'm looking for a sell here on gold. I would like to see this candle here close bullish. We got about 15 seconds. Yeah, that'll be perfect if it closes bullish here, and then the next candle comes down to break these lows. As we're currently moving down bearish here, 1.40%. So yeah, I think it's going to be a pretty good idea here that I can get a sell. So just gonna wait for the lows here to get broken through. Got a new 5-minute candle here open. Would be nice if it had a top wick. But we're gonna see. All right, there's a 5-minute creating its top wick. Pretty good top wick that is. Yeah, we got I think daylight savings for the USD today. So London open here is gonna be at 4 a.m. Come on, don't break that other side. We need you to break the lows, not the highs. If it breaks the highs, we might see some kind of like a pullback over here. There's some nice clean range up towards like 5106. So we want to see this area here get respected, and it should just completely melt. There's a bit of a wick fill situation that we're looking at. Right over here, once we break these lows, we can have a bit of a wick fill down towards 5088 over there. Checking 1, 2. All right. Yeah, I think everything should be good here. Awesome. Come on, Goldie. Really big candles. Like this 1 minute range here is about 67 pips. Really big range over here. Big candlesticks on the day. Loads of volume. What are we gonna do? Gold. Daily time frame is overall kind of like accumulating as well. We're kind of waiting on something. We're waiting on smart money to really come into the market again, as we're seeing a bit of reallocation of funds. That's why gold is not moving as bullish as we would like it to, with the situation in the Middle East. Remember, it's creating always good prices for position holders to hold gold, as we're, you know, kind of like ranging there. Looks like this 5-minute here might actually just close bullish. Got about like 40 seconds. Daily top wick. Yeah, we should have a daily. We do have a daily top wick. Holy, the daily already came down from the open 3%. Negative 3% there. Here's our new 5-minute open. Let's see if we can get any liquidity grab confluences over here. As it breaks the highs, creating a top wick. It's distributing that. It's distributing from here. As it broke above 5,100. Hey, what's going on here? So much volatility on gold. Yeah, broke the highs. All right, nothing. Maybe if price still came down and broke those lows. Yeah, we still look like we're still overall in a range. Wow, man, look at this 5-minute here. 5-minute just opened. This is a London open. A London open volume. Gold falls as high energy prices fuel inflation concerns. Yeah, Goldie decided to do a U-turn. All right, let's see. It still needs to break out of this area here. It's coming towards the top of the bigger range because it's distributing from here. Now it's breaking the higher distribution now. Should probably see more buyers come in. Got a bit of clean range towards like 51.26. Price starts to break above 51.07 over there. Holy. Very nice clean distribution from this point. Very nice. Clean draw. Pretty smooth entry over there. There was that clean range. It's towards the highs of the clean range. It just broke the highest point of the second distribution here. Pushed an additional 20 pips. Not bad, not bad. Still got room to keep moving up as well. Looks like what really came into kind of like, you know, push price up over here was that London open. You can see exactly here at 4 a.m. We just got volume come in. Volume came in, mopped up this range. Now it's just waiting. I was on buys, looked at gold up and went to 12 pips and faked you out. Oh. Yeah, I mean, now we're just getting volume. Volume's come back in here. Candle open, no bottom wick even. Just skyrocketed up here from the open. About 118 pips. Yeah, so I think I'm just gonna wait. I'm just gonna wait now. I got that buy set up. My favorite setup, head and shoulder with clean range. Awesome. Yeah, also got faked out by gold buys that broke then reversed. Yeah, I was looking for a. I mean, the buys definitely did play out beautifully over here. TFX concepts. But the sells are not playing out. The sells aren't playing out. Man, it's something I've been noticing since last week during the London session. We've been getting the opposite moves play out. So when the daily is bearish, the buys are playing out, and vice versa. It's just been something I've noticed been happening over here for the London session. Anyway, you know, like price gonna move up, it's gonna create opportunity, then get some kind of retracement back to the downside. But it's currently in a distribution phase right now. This is it. Just seeing some pullbacks over here. It's the range. If it still wants to keep moving up, it's still got about like 160 pips. Jeez, man. Like, what the hell is going on here? It's correcting the whole 5-minute candle now. I'm wondering if I'm still considering if I should take a sell down here or just wait. It's correcting the whole 5-minute candlestick. Crazy. What are you gonna do? What are we going to do? Because it's kind of annoying came up here. Like, this is a whole freaking range. Like, from here to push that, like 100 pips. Doesn't make sense. It could have easily just pushed down here to trigger this order, just like, you know, 30 pips. 30 pip move, but it went 100 pips this way, and then it went 100 pips this way. Yeah, that's that daily accumulation. Right over here, we can see daily resistance. We got support. That's the daily range. It's overall holding this area. It's waiting for some kind of a volume to come into the overall market. I don't like this Goldie right now. It's quite whiplashy. Generally. Maybe it comes up, retest this resistance by 5107 and then came down, then you know I could probably give my trade here a chance, and then expect this to be some kind of like a right shoulder, like left shoulder here, right shoulder, and then volume to come in. See what's oil doing. Oil is trading at about, oh, we peaked at about $113 a barrel. Wow, look at oil. And we have market open gap over here on oil. Holy, is that a daily? Man, look at the size of this daily here. Look at the size of this daily on oil compared to like all the previous days. Sheesh. And this is what gold should be doing. There's massive gaps over here. Damn. Should be trading oil. Should be trading oil now. Gotta run to where the money is. Ah, that's a joke. Man, I think in trading, you just gotta focus on what you know. You know, if you're gonna be trading gold and you trade whatever you trade, you just focus on that. Never chase moves in the market. It's also, you know, just a matter of discipline. Just being disciplined. So you don't feel that you gotta chase moves. You know, you're just kind of proving to yourself that you can be disciplined. That's just the idea behind that. So yeah, I don't know about this sells anymore. We'll probably still give it a shot here. Below that support. Man, but this would have been so clean right there. If this candlestick came down like this. Let's see. Now we've broken into this range. That's like 173 pips. So we got resistance up here. Got resistance and support. Gotta see if anything cooks up within this range. Oil is currently tumbling here. Guess it just had some really strong retracements. On the 1 minute, I'm seeing beautiful sells. Little accumulation breaks happening here as well. Man, this break by 108 or like 109 level was pretty nice. Look at this. Just completely waterfalled from that point. Even this next break here, pretty good. 102, completely waterfall. Little TFX confirmation here and here. To keep moving down. Yeah, I think Goldie here is just deciding what he wants to do next. Hey, good morning, explorers. Gold is bullish on the HTF, maybe bearish intraday. If you really zoom out of gold, then yeah, it's gonna look super bullish on the monthly time frame over there. Or once you start doing your HCF to LTF, you can see now the daily here is just ranging. Like there's no trend at this moment. It's just kind of like moving sideways, you know. Because you see, like everything that happened here, this is because, you know, a lot of like retail traders, they're gonna be looking at only technical analysis. So you always just looking at what previously happened. So you just gotta focus more on like what's currently happening. Gold right now is freaking coming down again. A candlestick here on the 1 minute just completely knotted about how much is like 50 pips. I should take a sell over here at the break of the lows. Candle here is about to close soon. Yeah, I think the way gold is pushing, it honestly looks like it wants to come down. Because now I'm looking at this as like some kind of like a fake out above that resistance. And then this would be the break of the low for price to follow through to the downside. Man, Goldie's not been easy. Not been easy. We needed a clean move like this one right over here. Man, what? What's price doing here? Just did small liquidity grab. Now it's skyrocketing back up. It's not ready to move. I think that's what's going on. It's just not ready to move. Not ready to move away from this range. Like you can imagine all these orders being built up here. It's gonna distribute either direction. It's either gonna start moving up, fill that range on the 5, or start moving down out of this zone. Down is harder. Yeah, down is harder when looking at the higher time frames. 100%. Because now I'm just expecting, if we're moving down, I'm expecting just because the daily is already moving down, volume will come in and break through those levels. And I kind of like disrespect those levels. But yeah, if there's a buy confirmation, moving up is easier. That's our 5-minute candles whiplashing quite a bit. Yeah, about to get the new 5 open. That's a right shoulder right there, potentially. So this is also kind of like what I wanted to see from this area. Boom. Get that right shoulder in, and then expecting volume to start coming in through that point. So like 5-minute candles here can dump. Very difficult. Man, gold's been very, very difficult. The thing with gold of late, it hasn't been too forgiving, right? It's either you're going to be right about your trade or wrong about your trade. Another issue is like, okay, like it looks clean now. Just getting stuck in, because I think once we start to break those lows, we're gonna probably see like a strong push. Once we break below like 50.93.40. So hopefully the break is a pump. You know, when like gold is moving like this, you really got to keep an eye on it, because literally like each one of these 5 minutes can just completely start melting. Either one of these 1-minute candles can just dump. There's so much volume in them. I think this is a similar setup to kind of what happened earlier on during that pre-London time. There was a really nice sell that played out there. It looks similar to this. I read somewhere gold will consolidate below 88 until July 2026. And nobody knows. Nobody can tell you that for certain. Because, you know, we're in striking distance of ATH. It's not that difficult for price to get through ATH. And what's going on here? So we got support, candlestick breaking below support. It would be better if this 1 minute here would actually close bullish. I don't want to see it come down bearish. I got a small bullish candle. Man, so rangy. So rangy on gold. Look at this. Look at what we're trading over here. That's why we want to see it break out of the range. So rangy. If this 5-minute close in that zone, it will be good for the next 5. Makes the top wick, then makes the way down. Yeah, how much? We got a lot, like 10 seconds. 10 seconds for the next 5 open. Yeah, that'll be better. Because this 5 has already moved down as well. Alright. Looks like it just created that top wick there. Gotta wait. Bottom of the range. So, you know, at the bottom of the range, we've seen price previously move up to retest the highs again. So it's gonna keep doing that until it's ready to either gonna distribute bullish right over here, or it's gonna distribute down bearish. It's gonna keep retesting the lows, moving up, highs moving down. It's good where the 5-minute is right now though. You see the way the 5-minute set up right here? Because if we start breaking through this lows, these wick areas, we're expecting at least some kind of like a wick fill. Price to continue pushing. Bearish. Because I think macro fundamentally, as we can see, that's reflecting here on gold spot as well. Like the market is just coming down. And with the whole energy crisis now that's going to happen, I think like more people are investing or trying to invest in that oil. So gold's kind of been tumbling. It's kind of been tumbling. It's kind of been whiplashy. But I like the setup here in terms of this is being a fake out. So let's pull this up over here. Yeah, so you know the idea again is this is going to be a fake out. This is our resistance. We got potential head and shoulders right over here. This accumulation area price is currently in, so we need to break below like 50.93. That price can move down and probably get some wick fills. Nice little SMA confluence in there as well. So you know we just gotta give it a shot here. Just got to keep being consistent, man, because like if you can't be consistent using your strategy, then you know you're never gonna see the results that you should be seeing. You gotta always be consistent. Work so hard on that foundation. Make sure you have the appropriate risk, the appropriate techniques to be getting into markets in a way that makes sense, so that you can't fail. And even if you do fail, when you're gonna find that out ahead of time, like in the future, you're already gonna be in such a good place because you've already taken the necessary steps to avoid a lot of the, you know, anyway, like, hold on, price is coming down. Telling you, you gotta be really, really cautious with Goldie right now. Gold is in such a state that it can start breaking at any freaking second. And you know, the thing is, when it plays around these lows, then it will sometimes break really fast when it's, you know, in a range like this. You see how it's breaking already? It's coming down. It can break quite surprisingly fast. Starting to break out of the range. All right, I got triggered in there. Oh, look at this. TP got hit. Putting my stop loss here to break even. And securing. I'm securing right over here, chat. 447. Awesome. First win for the week. I told you, you have to be on your toes. You have to be on your toes. for this trade. Nice. So you put your stop loss to break even right over here. There's no point letting this become a drawdown trade. It's finally breaking out. You know, man, this is what I thought was going to happen over here. I was wondering why it went all the way back up. It didn't make any sense for it to go all the way back up like this. But it only made sense when there was a confirmation over here. When it broke above those highs and then to fill that range. Man, like this is a trade that I've experienced trades like this before, and I had a feeling, because you know when we're getting in, it was like 8 seconds for the 1 minute candle here to close. So I've been in this trades before exactly like this. I actually had this feeling. It just all happened too fast for me to like say it. But usually when something like this happens, when it's consolidated right next to the lows, there's a lot of like anticipation for a breakout, correct? So like, and you're like, once this next 1 minute candle was opening, that thing was most likely just gonna rip down like that, like super quick. It's hard to explain. That's why I think it's super important for you to always, that's why I said stick to your system. Whatever system that is that you're trading, just stick to it. Trust me, you gotta set that fund. You know, the whole idea behind going on a journey is that you're gonna have everything prepared for the journey. So if you're gonna go on a road trip, you always gotta make sure you got like, you know, your extra fuel, you know, you got all your emergency services, like all of those things, correct? You gotta have like a solid foundation before you go on this journey. Because man, trading is the same way. Before you go on this journey, you gotta have a solid foundation, right? You don't want to figure out too late that you could have done things a little bit better. So I'll just say, like, you know, just like a food for thought over there, like for today. If you're gonna approach anything in life, make sure you're gonna approach it with like a plan, a solid plan before taking the journey, right? Because you'd rather spend a lot more time on that foundation than figure something out later, right? You'd rather get delayed and make sure you're moving correctly than just jump in, put so much energy into something, and then figure out later, like, oh man, I should have done this differently. No, you can't do that, you know, because then you're gonna waste a lot of time. You're gonna waste a lot of time, a lot of energy. You know, trading's the same thing. It's a pretty nice first winning trade of the week for me over here, and we're just gonna keep moving like this. We're just going to keep moving slow and correct, because you know, in the market you want to focus more on, you know, securing like bits and pieces instead of always looking to get like, you know, 5%, 9%, whatever you might be trying to hit. You have to get good at securing small bits and pieces of the market, because that's going to be your bread and butter. Yeah, so I think it's pretty good here. Now price can continue to move down. Oh, look at this, up like 65 pips right now. But how big was that retracement though? Oh, that was a pretty big retracement. Spiked through SL there by like 3 pips. So yeah, nice. I'm in and I'm out. I'm in and I'm out. I'm in and I'm out. Seems like the breakdown is starting. Yes. Because, you know, sometimes when you got a lot of rejection wicks, see on the 5 minute right here, when you have like a lot of rejection wicks, price will behave exactly like this. It'll try and accumulate orders so it can attempt to break through that level. So you see that it's just like kind of sipping through it like this. Because it's a pretty difficult area to get through, because we got rejection wicks. So we got to accumulate first and then we got to break later. Yeah, nice. Awesome. Now we're going to move on to the next trade. Man, I'm so excited for you guys to see my results in the next 3 months. Bro, my goal to get to, it's probably going to be like 15% body fat, but my goal to get down to 10 to 12% in the next 6 months. Man, I can't wait. I can't wait, because I want to show you that everything in life, if you have the right head on your shoulders, anything in life, you're going to succeed in everything. If you're good at finding like foundation, if you're good at, you know, like really being objective, really be objective with yourself and really like dig into what needs to be digged into, you know. Like you're always going to start with a lot of information, then you have to find a way to make that information a streamlined information. So you're going to have a sample of all these sample sizes right around here, and all you got to do is like find a way to streamline all this information to kind of neutralize it. So you can say this is the best possible approach that I'm going to take. So yeah, I'm quite excited to show you guys. I've never been that low in body fat in my life. I've never seen my abs in my life. But you know, that has nothing. That's the same exact thing like in trading. Get the foundation right, and in the next 3 months, man, you could be a whole different person. In the next 3 months, a whole different person. You know, you focus on good trading habits, then you're gonna see. You just have to give it time. And you know, in the beginning, you're not gonna see results. But that's why it's important to journal, correct? You got to journal, and then you're going to see like, oh, okay, so I've been doing this for a month now. I can see we got a little bit of progress over here. So let me just keep going in this direction, and let's just see what happens in the next 2 months. Let's just see what happens. You know, and you just keep doing that, and over time, man, you're going to be surprised what you're going to achieve. But you got to get that foundation correct. And I can't stress this enough. Look at Nas, she might blow up. Can't stress it enough. And you gotta find a stress-free way of doing it too. You know, it's not just about the foundation, it's also about like how can it make sense for you? Correct? Like how can it make sense for you? Because you know, it's just the same thing. Like look at this. If I can give you a trading plan, and then if I can give you my diet plan, if I get to 10 to 12% body fat, right? So essentially, it's the same thing. I'm giving you a trading plan. I can just give you my diet plan. But none of these two things are going to work unless you actually put the work in. Because, you know, here, even with the diet, you still got to go look at your peanut butter. You got to look at the calories on your peanut butter. You got to look at your Greek yogurt. You know, how much protein is in that? How much calories in my whey protein? You know, it's the same thing. I can give you the plan. But if you don't put the work in, then you're never gonna make it. So I think it's a pretty good habit to want to, you know, like dig into those things. And like a lot of people, you're gonna be surprised, don't dig into those things. And even ChatGPT was telling me like, damn, this plan is pretty good. Like most people don't even go this far. Thank you, AD. Yeah, I think it's gonna be awesome. I'm eating two ice cream in my plan, as stress-free as possible. But obviously the ice cream is gonna be kind of, you know, like obviously with whey protein and skimmed milk and ice cubes, a bit of spinach, a little bit of xanthan gum to you kind of make it like a bit thick. And then you're gonna trick your brain into thinking you're eating more than you are actually eating. But man, look at that, eating ice cream 2 times a day. And it is way less calories, way less fat. But you see, you just gotta find those little tricks, man. Those little tricks. It's the same way in trading. You know, you gotta have something that's gonna keep you going. Because, you know, for me, that's gonna keep me going. You know, when you're eating less, but you're eating that type of food and like healthy food and you get nutrients and everything, man, that's gonna keep you going. So you gotta see like in the same, because that's where most people actually fail, correct? Like most people can do it for maybe like 2 weeks and then put it all back on in like a week. Or they go like 4 weeks and put it all back on later on because they don't have that stress tolerance already planned out in the foundation, because they haven't prepared for that war, which is, it's gonna come, but they haven't prepared for it. So it's like in trading, you gotta also see with how much stress that your strategy has and prepare for that war up ahead that's gonna create you some kind of a discouragement. So you already have the mechanisms and plan that, you know, you're not gonna get discouraged and you can keep going. Especially if you know you're on the right track and you're doing it correctly, then you're gonna have more motivation to keep going. So you see, that's why it's super important. Just like small pieces from the market like this. There's small pieces. And move over to the next trade. That's it. Just keep that stress tolerance. Keep that stress low. So one trade, one winning trade for the day. Awesome. Gonna take another trade later. But Goldie is super rangy. It is just stuck. Man, it is just stuck in this place. It's doing like small break and retest off the zone right over here by like 50.96. It is just stuck. Trapping traders on both sides. Yeah, I think it paid out. It definitely paid out traders on both sides. But yeah, in the grand scheme of things, it's trapping traders on both sides because traders are going to have really big stop losses. But if you see this move, this actually paid the traders out. This is about like 27 pips. And right over here is about like 65 pips. So, you know, I think it's quite important to understand that there's always 1,000 ways to skin a goat, right? Especially when it comes to markets. Because not one opinion can be right. You see, it says like trapping traders on both sides. He's correct. At the same time, I'm correct in the way that I trade and how I could have secured some profits over here. So, you know, we're both correct. So then like having that objectivity in markets is really, really important. See, because it allows you to get better as a trader. Oil is also kind of breaking out. Right over here. Got a little bit of nice range on oil to fill up. Bullish on the 50k subs. Yes, sir. But, you know, like right now, the YouTube analytics is kind of messing up my channel. So I can't do anything about it. I can't control it. The YouTube analytics is like the market when you want to control the market, but you know you can't control the market, right? So all that you can control is your discipline and how consistent that you're going to be. You know, you got to always focus on like those things that you can control. Man, I can't control YouTube. If it's going to give me 50k or it's not going to give me 50k, man, that's out of my control. I can't control anybody else's mood. I can't control how people think about my trading or what people think about me. You know, but what I can control is my own discipline. Is what can I achieve based off of what am I doing? You know, like that self-fulfillment of making sure that, you know, you're going to be moving correct in life. Man, that's what you can control. Seeing how this thing here is really flirting with, I think we're going to call this high volume area. Yeah, flirting with this. It looks like a reversal. If it breaks above 50, 96 level over there, looks like it could reverse. It just got so much heavy lifting to do. If you look at the 15, there's so many rejection wicks down there. A 30-minute. 1 hour looks clean though. If we could get below that 1 hour support here by 50.88, then, you know, price is going to come down and we're going to fill this range. It's going to be like 312 pips. Got a small little accumulation, what do you call it, like liquidity grab right over here as well. It just broke above the previous hourly highs. Just got a small slight liquidity grab. Got about 15 minutes now for this candle here to close. It looks like it still wants to rip down, but it's shaking out positions as it is doing so. See this candle here? It looked bullish for a second. It looked like it's gonna break out these highs, then it just completely reflip back down bearish. It's like flirting with that hourly support area from this high volume zone. Now you see that hourly wick, that liquidity grab on the HDF on the hourly, it's lining up beautifully that 1 minute spike above that we were still looking at, as well as a liquidity grab. They got like that break, retest, and it's still trying to move down over there. And man, like remember, like sells always gonna move a lot faster than buys are gonna move. So I think it's gonna be quite nice to see that hourly dip below support and then just keep filling up that range. Nice. Beautiful. Remember, drink more water, chat. Be nice to see that support get formed and then re-break of the lows for additional volume to come in as it attempts to break below that hourly support area. You can actually, I guess, just remove that zone. Keep the chart work clean. I haven't received the plan yet from the fitness. Oh, okay, Woods, we're going in. All right. You send me a message on Instagram. I'm gonna check later. Then I'm gonna send it to you. But I'm only gonna send it to the people who send me their emails. Their emails when I posted the post. Because I put a lot of work into it. I'll probably sell it when I'm done with it. I'll probably sell it. Because most people are not willing to put that much work in it. It has a lot of value in it as well. Like it's the best that it can possibly be. Like I made it the best that it can possibly be, as accurate as it can possibly be. So I'm probably gonna sell it when I'm done with it. After I achieve the results, I'm gonna sell it. Just like trading, you know, if you're good at trading and you know when you achieve the results, you're gonna sell it. You're gonna sell the how to be profitable. Now I'm gonna sell how to get to this target. Correct? Because people don't want to do it in the beginning. They're only gonna want to do it in the results phase. You know, like so right now there's no results. It's like the beginning, but then when the results come in, that's when everybody kind of wants to get on it. But you know, it's too late at that point. It's too late. It's too late at that point. There's a lot of work that goes into these things, you know? Like that's why most profitable traders are not willing to give you free information. There's a lot of work that gets put into these things, you know? When nobody believed in them when they were trying to do it, they still did it, then they achieved it, then everybody wants to do it, and then that's why they're like, oh, okay, I got you now. So I'm going to charge you like 3K, 4K. Some of these traders charge like $4,000, bruh. $4,000 for the mentorship. It makes a lot of sense because it takes a lot of effort to get to that point. You know, it takes a lot of effort. Yes, I got you. Whoever like send me that message, I'm gonna send it to you. It's 100% gonna work. I know I don't have the results yet, but trust me, like you're gonna learn a lot from trading and how to structure things. It's 100% gonna work, provided you stick with it. Looks like it's breaking the high of the accumulation here. So that's what we thought was going to break over here. That's what I thought I was going to break over here. But it came down to create a double support. Double support down here. Boom, boom. Now it's breaking from this area. It's still that reversal play. So you still got that a potential reversal. This reversal area over here. So we thought we were going to get it like here, but it came down, it expanded, and then it broke above here. So it's coming back into the range. Very tricky. Yeah, it's quite tricky here, but you can still get away as long as you're not too greedy. You see, like, for example, it just paid out these buyers. It moved about almost 50 pips, and then now it's coming back down. So as long as you're not too greedy, you got a little bit more of a refined approach, you get away with like some of these moves here. Actually, most of them so far, like they've all played out. This one, this one, this one, and then this one. They've all played out. You know, at least giving like about 20 pips. This is a nice sell. This is the sell I was talking about, like from early on, from that what do you call it, like from pre-London. I took a sell in pre-London here, and then, you know, I took a losing trade. This is my first win of the day. Hopefully I can stack that up, get back into the green. But yeah, this is the idea that price is gonna sell off. It came super close to hitting TP, and then it started pulling back up again. And then this was a much cleaner move over here. I just had to watch it play out because I already took my shot for the morning and I didn't want to overtrade. So I kind of just watched this trade here play out. It was a lot cleaner as well. And the idea was to fill up that range on the 5-minute to continue moving down bearish. You can see here on the 5 broke below support. Then it came all the way down, even the 15-minute clean range. Man, it was such a beautiful, beautiful sell. Look at this, all the way down towards that 15-minute support area over here. So this was looking kind of similar, besides from the fact that it wasn't trading from like all the way up here. We're kind of like at the bottom, just expecting a continuation. I'm waiting on the real drop. Now it's back into the gulag. Into the gulag we go. I took the sell from 51.14, made some really nice monopoly money. Let's see, 50, 51. Oh, what are you trading in Canadian dollars? 50, 51.14. Oh yeah, that was a nice sell. Nice sell. You wouldn't wait for the candle to... I also saw this one. That's true. Because when I was watching price, I was watching it break here. I was thinking to myself, okay, so if I didn't take this one, I would have most likely taken this one, even though this candle here didn't close bearish because of just the amount of volume that we're seeing. Like, you can just feel that gold so far has been really, really bearish. let's see what we got in store for Forex Factory. So today we just got daylight savings. Yeah, it doesn't look like we got much. Actually, daylight savings was over the weekend here. So Monday we have nothing. Tuesday we have nothing. Yeah, the next time we're gonna have news is gonna be on Wednesday, core CPI. Thursday's clean, unemployment claims. Friday, core PCE. Seems like a chill week so far. National Doral Miami. Trump National Doral Miami. Doesn't look like Trump's gonna be having any important like meetings that we're gonna be looking at. It's a luxury hotel. Trump National Doral Miami. Oh, this is Trump's hotel. Sick, man. Looks like the White House. Got the American flag out there. Kind of look like old money style. You know, like those guys who get those yachts. You kind of like imagine how the inside of their yachts look like, that old money style. Like these wooden finishes. This wooden, like this type of style over here. Say old money is dying. There's just a lot of new money coming in. Old money is not even, I don't think old money has been perceived much as a what it used to be anymore. So like now people are looking at a lot of the new money. A lot of people are gonna have like a lot of money to spend nowadays because of like all the opportunity to make money. So you're gonna have more new money people buying expensive stuff than old money. Because man, with new money, you're gonna spend a lot, like, especially once you find some kind of consistency in what you're doing and you finally find it working. Because right now in this day and age, things are a lot more exponential than they used to be. So you gotta find like a lot of these people, they're always gonna spend. As soon as you start making money, you just want to spend. But you should always find some kind of like a happiness in getting better. I played the golf course at Doral. It's absolutely beautiful. It looks sick. All right, so this was that mini reversal back into the gulag. But now it's just kind of like chopping out a lot more. Not seeing any confirmations at this point. It's a lot more chop. 15-minute as well. Loads of wicks. You got your SMAs. The 50, the 8 SMA holding down the 15. So it's kind of like a tricky area to trade. Basically, we call this... this whole area is like a gulag, right? It's not the most ideal situation that you're going to wake up in the morning and you're going to look at this and get excited to jump onto the charts. You're kind of going to look at this and think to yourself, man, I got to be cautious today. You know, like, how can I protect my capital and my psychology today more than anything else? Because you know the problem is especially when you're risking a lot, it's easy for you to tilt when you take like one L and then you're gonna want to take a second trade right after the first loss. So it's gonna be very easy for you to tilt, right? That's the thing about trading, is what you gotta look out for is that tilt, is that feeling of, man, I gotta get the market back. You know, but you don't get the market back, it gets you back. Let's remember that. You never get the market back. You know, if you could get a market back today, what about tomorrow? What are you going to do? What are you going to do tomorrow? You're not going to get away with it for too long, right? That's the whole idea. Is you got to look at your habits and say, what can I get away with for a certain amount of time and what can I not get away with? Right? Because if you're expecting to get lucky trades, then that's not going to work in the long term. So you gotta be patient, man. This morning I wanted to revenge trade, because I saw this sell. I was like, okay, you know what? I lost this trade, man. This next trade here is most likely gonna play out. You know, sometimes we start to talk ourselves into things. We're like, man, but nah, this time that's gonna play out, 100%. 100%. You can give your trade a second chance from time to time, but I think the best W is honestly for me is just a step away. It's a step away when something like a loss happens. That's the best W. Just step away and come back later. Simple. Market's not going anywhere. Just come back later. And you just a slow progress. Like this, you know, kind of making like slow but good progress over here. Just slow progress. One hit, ooh, you get hit in the face. All right, you recalibrate. Boom, you hit it in the face. All right, now you don't want to get too cocky. You know, you're doing good. You're doing good. So you want to keep that momentum up. Then boom, hit it again in the face properly. You know, then you don't want to get too cocky again. You want to keep recalibrating, making sure you're in discipline. And then you keep hitting it and hitting it and hitting it. But man, if you're gonna hit it and then get all emotional and start swinging all over the place, then you know that your results are also not gonna look very, very good over there. And you want your P&L to look good, right? You see, when you take a loss, you want it to be spread out like this. This is perfect right here. This is a natural, what I'll call like a natural progression, where when it's more spread out, this is what you want. Couple break even, couple W's, boom, loss, W, loss, W, loss, W, just spread it out. But you know, sometimes you have these clusters which can be worse than what they are, because we also call this like a natural cluster of losses, right? Those could be a lot more worse, especially if you're revenge trading, because instead of like 4 L's, you can take like 8. You know, there's a big difference between 4 and 8. But yeah, for the most part, you just want to like spread out until the market again starts opening up. Remember, it's like you gotta think the market like the weather. You know, sometimes you're gonna have like rainy weather, sometimes you're gonna have sunny weather. So when you're gonna have rainy weather, you gotta accept that, you know, there's a condition here of rainy weather until it clears out, because a storm doesn't last forever. You know, you're gonna have a storm that's gonna be a very crazy storm, but it's not gonna last forever, right? And then when the sun comes out, it breaks out beautifully, and then that's when you start to actually have your W's. I think most of the time you're gonna have more W's than stormy weather, provided you're moving correctly. But you know, it's kind of like seasonal. It will depend on the market conditions, but yeah, at least gold is moving. It's definitely like rainy here in gold, but at least there's a lot of pushes that you can still benefit off certain moves, even though we're not getting like a clean cut direction. For example, like what we're seeing on oil is moving pretty clean cut, as you can see. It's like just super bullish. You can see where the exuberance lies. It's probably a lot more clean on the intraday timeframes, whereas gold on the daily is more choppy like this. It's more consolidated, barcoding, a little bit more compressed. So you know, you can tell the difference. You can tell the difference. I think as a trader, you gotta get really good at being able to tell that difference. And the only way you're gonna be able to tell that difference is by showing up to the market. I always like to explain it just the way like psychologists would explain to you what this is, right? So everybody gonna see something different over here on this like ink blob. You're all gonna see something different. So that's what the market is. So you just have to get good at I mean, it's an art. Trading is an art. You can't be too rigid about the process, correct? You should be able to be in line with a kind of like a sentiment. Yeah, Kev's from the UK here, so he doesn't get much sun. Yeah, we're not the best example, because where I'm from, I get a lot of sun. So I was just thinking about like where I'm from. So I was like, man, like, you know, I get a lot of sun over here, so there's not a lot of like cloudy days. Overgeneralize it too much. But hey, you know, it's like in the UK when you have, it's all in the mind, right? In the UK when you have 18 degrees Celsius, that's like a summer. People are gonna walk around in their shorts and they're in their vests and everything. You know, it's like 18 degrees. So it's in the mind. In the mind. For some people, that would be crazy. How's this guy walking with shorts right now? Man, when I was living in Germany, because it's also like very cold there, and sometimes I see these people walking around in shorts. I'm like, how's this guy walking in shorts right now? And I'm used to a different type of climate. You know, but some people, that's like enough. So it's all in the mind of the beholder. Because you see, like even right now, for example, it's cloudy weather. We're kind of like in UK cloudy weather right now. But I've acclimatized so I can like, you know, walk around in my shorts over here and say, you know, it's not all that bad. It's all that bad. Yes, we're choppy on the HCF. Yes, we're wicking, we're ranging, but it's not all that bad. You know, price is moving. Price is moving, you know, a few pips here, a few pips there, not bad. As long as we get a break and that break can at least dish out like 20, 30 pips, that's all that I need, man. It's still got that 5-minute clean range above resistance here by 5109. It's above 5109. Beautiful range to keep skyrocketing up there, like about 160 pips. Maybe that's something we're gonna see happen more during pre-New York, maybe New York Open. Correct this range. Trading is crazy. You have to be impatiently patient. You have to be very impatient with your losing and very patient with your winning. Everything in your mind for perspective. For perspective, Henry VIII didn't have electricity and died of gout. All of our life are inherently better. I mean, it's, yeah, I mean, that's true. I mean, this is the best time to be alive in all of human history. There's never been a better time for us to be alive. Right? Like that's why I always say it is a sin to not take advantage of the amount of information that there is on the internet. It is a sin to not have that ability to take advantage of that information. Yeah, that's the whole idea behind this fitness plan. I know in the grand scheme of things, even if I do get to 10, 12% or 15% body fat, it won't really matter. But there's only a select few people who get inspired by such things and they kind of like break away from the matrix. But in the grand scheme of things, it won't really matter. But it's going to matter a lot more to me and just those few people that you can show that trading and this is just the same thing. It's just your ability to structure a plan and consistently follow that plan. And that's it. That's all that life is. It's the reason why people, you know, they're going to go to university, get their medical degrees, you know, they go through all the trials and tribulations throughout high school. They got a structure. So at the end of it all, they get the result, right? Whether that's going to be a doctor or whatever, a lawyer, engineer. You don't see the results while you're doing it that much. And it takes so much time until you finally do see it. But as long as you're moving, and that's the whole idea behind school. It just gives you like a structure. And as long as you're moving in that general direction, there's no reason why, provided that you care about it, you shouldn't achieve it. It's trying to break above the high right now. You got some kind of like forming a bit of resistance over there. Looks like we might actually end up mopping up that range sooner than I thought. Because the 5-minute is already on its way up. We got the SMAs holding price right now. 146 pips just skyrocketed. It's about closing in 5 seconds. Let's see if it's gonna be a shotgun. Oh, last 5 seconds. Close below support. We close below support over here. I mean resistance. It's the journey that matters, never the pursuit of happiness. The happiness of the pursuit. Oh, that's Jimmy Carr. Nice. I thought you were gonna say Jim Carrey. Man, what happened with Jim Carrey though? He completely changed. Jim Carrey, he had an interview recently and he looks so different. He bought into the whole Hollywood thing, it seems. Like, man, looks like a completely different guy over here. He got like so much Botox and everything. And you know, like Jim Carrey is notorious for making fun of like, you know, Hollywood and all these people. And look at this, look what happened to him. How do you explain this? Guy from the Truman Show. How does that happen? Why does that happen? I thought this was a joke at first. People did not believe this was actually him getting this award. Because like Jim Carrey is notorious with these types of things. So people thought this was a joke. But it was actually him. Like people lose themselves, man. I don't know what it is like about Hollywood and just life in general. But man, you gotta have the most authentic people just to kind of like lose themselves. You know, like Jim Carrey is the most authentic, one of the most authentic guys in Hollywood. He was the last guy to think to do something like this. That's like Dave Chappelle doing this. Imagine if Dave Chappelle did this. Because Dave Chappelle and Jim Carrey have the same kind of like energy when it comes to Hollywood and the elites. Or like Kanye West or something, you know? It's crazy. But Jim Carrey, guy's a legend. So don't lose yourself, you know? It's easy for you to lose yourself. You're gonna lose yourself in the charts. Some of you lose yourself in the charts here. You're gonna start the day with so much motivation, so much discipline, and then something happens along the way. You're like, damn, what happened over here? Why did I take this extra trade? So every day is just a test, man. It's just life is just gonna test you. And the thing about life and tests is patience. Life and tests are like they're gonna be very patient with you. So they're gonna see if you truly want this thing or not. That's how the universe kind of like sieves out people. It's not through making it necessarily harder. It's through giving them time. You know, you're giving them time. Because you give someone enough time, they're either going to break. They're going to break or they're not going to break. And that's what it's testing. It's testing to see if you're going to break or you're not going to break. Now look at this. This is coming up. We didn't get the close above 5109, but it's still giving the breakout over here. Looking to fill this range. So you gotta say, you're not gonna break me today, life. Like you see that picture of the Greek god who's holding the snake. You gotta tell that snake, not today, sir. Not today. And then the next day comes about, you say, not today. And you just take it day by day like that. And then that will just become your natural psychology, and it will be a lot easier to do that. And then the universe is gonna be like, man, this guy doesn't operate off motivation, man. I can't touch this guy. This is about discipline. This has now become a character that has been developed into, that you cannot break this kind of a character over here. Yeah, that's what you gotta be, man. And that's what you need in the market more than anything else in life. Because in the market, it's daily. It's literally a daily thing like this. Your account is getting this daily pounding. So pause. But yeah, that's what it is. Like you ever see like this meme of this lady? Look at it.
No.
So this is basically the market.
When you trust somebody, you get this done to you. All they want to do to you is all they want to do. Trust somebody before this would happen. You let them get close to you. This is all they want to do. This is all they want. All
Nah, I'm dead. I'm dead. I'm dead. I'm dead.
Watch it. You know when.
But it's true. That's all that life wants to do to you. That's all that the market wants to do to you. So you gotta look at that and say, man, if this is what you really want to do to me, how can I protect myself? All right, we gotta focus on charts over here. How can you protect yourself? If that's all that life wants to do to you, what can you do? What can you do to protect yourself? I think in trading, all that you can do is the best thing for anybody is like stick to just 2 trades, man. Just limit the exposure you have to that happening to you. You know, don't put yourself in a scenario where that happens to you, then you play the victim like, oh, this happened to me. All right, so this is still trying to push up here. We finally got a shotgun confirmation. It's breaking above the high and it's trying to shoot up here. How much more pips you got? Like 100 pips still towards that resistance. But it's opening up quite a lot though. It looks much better here to move up. Like if you look at this PA, it makes a lot more sense to move up than to move down. To move down would just be a purely volume based play. But I think it's correcting as well some of that pre-London, those pre-London sells. Ivik, what's your thoughts about a November London open time change? Nothing, you know, you just gotta change. When the time changes, it changes. You just change with it. So the London time zone shift, when it happens, I think stream will be an hour ahead as well. No, an hour earlier. Yeah, so you gotta wake up 1 hour earlier. Which is also good because you got a whole day ahead of you. So you're done trading like a lot sooner. It's only gonna test now your discipline to going to bed early. You know, making sure you get a bit of sleep before you come on. That's the only thing that will change. But I prefer these times, man. I prefer like how it's opening up now than when it's an hour early. I prefer the summer times because then I finish trading at 10:30 p.m. Yeah, I saw I was a makeup artist, but I have no idea anymore. Apparently, Jim Carrey's publicist or something like that came in and said that that was actually him. I mean, can you really make up wrinkles? Can you do makeup for wrinkles? And like this just seems pretty real. Cheekbones. Nah, I don't think it's Alexa Stone. I mean, even in movies they use like some level of CGI to gonna make a character look young or older, but this is real life. I mean, it would be crazy if it was, but man, I just don't see the features. Even the way his eyebrow goes up like this, his bone right over here. Jim Carrey's kind of like slants down a bit more. So how could it be this guy? It's a face mask. And that must be freaking awesome face mask. All the face masks I see, you can tell it's a face mask. The mask. ICT indicator still showing 11 a.m. Yeah, I'm still showing. I think you gotta go in the source code and you gotta change the. You can change the time here. So yeah, we got potential buy target. It's about 70 more pips once it breaks above these highs. The initial distribution was actually pretty solid because it didn't pull back or anything. Once it started breaking above this high over here, 51.10, it just continued to move up like 90 pips now. It's a super messy area, but you know, if we're gonna clean up this consolidation, what it actually is moving this. So we're gonna have to move this down here so you can see it better, and then this over here. So that's where the break, if you're wondering where that break was coming from, this is it. This was from this area over here. You go from here to here. Like this is just general zone. So you see once I start breaking above, it's distributing. And where's it distributing? It's cleaning the range. That range on the left hand side. That's where it's currently moving towards. In terms of re-entries, you know, a funny thing about the market's how it repeats itself over and over again. This entry here is the same entry that happened over here. And look, it's coming in like in the same area as well. It's like a similar entry. You see, like when those volume candlestick here broke all in one go, and here as well, all in one go as well. Like this. And you also got like that mini accumulation on both ends. You got mini accumulation here, you got mini accumulation here, and they're starting to like break both of them. Or like both of them broke like similar style. See, the market always loves to mirror itself, right? Mirroring itself here and here. Then we got the 5-minute time frame. You're gonna see it's also kind of mirroring itself here. It's correcting this. See how much of this range has been filled. We just filled about 65%. Let's see what NQ is doing. NQ is still rangy on the daily. We're at the bottom of the range now. Huge gap on NQ to the downside. Currently doing a small little gap fill. 1 hour getting filled. 30 fill. Yeah, I mean, obviously just a whole freaking gap there. And it's just distributing from LTF here. I think on the 15 it looks a little bit cleaner. That break to fill up the gap. So this is most likely what a lot of people trading NQ today are going to be looking at. So that's like a confluence, right? Like whenever we see a gap like that, it's like a confluence, because they say what is like 70% of gaps in the market get filled. Still beautiful little accumulation break right over here. Basically the same thing that just happened on gold spot, but this one looks a lot more cleaner. Once it started breaking above like 24,313, that's currently a distribution phase as well right now. Start breaking about 1 hour 14 minutes into London. Yeah, overall, pretty decent Monday over here. Can't really complain too much. At least price is moving. It's just the only real bad consolidation period right here by the London Open. Down over here, but overall looks pretty good. I think our next trade is gonna be a W trade. Next trade of the day. As long as we keep moving like this, don't see why not. Because I see the trades playing out, correct? Like we know what we're looking for, so we can like kind of, you know, we can kind of test like what you call like paper trade and say, okay, you know, a lot of these trades are playing out. We also had one here at the break of the high, also played out. Drawdown was minimal, is not too bad, I suppose, and then continue to move up bullish. Well, it was bad, but not detrimental necessarily. So yeah, I'm just counting. I'm kind of counting my chickens over here. I'm saying, okay, so this played out, that played out, this played out, that played out, this played out, and also trying to be as objective to see, did it break the lows? No. Did it break the lows? No. For this buy, it didn't. Here as well, that was a W. Did it break the lows? Yes. Okay, so here did we break the lows? No. So W. Here did we break lows? No. Any confirmation for sells? No. This is more like an inverted head and shoulders. So that played out beautifully as well. So I'm kind of like counting my chickens over here. So I can see so far the trades have all been playing out. So I don't see a reason why it should be a bad day overall to trade into pre-New York NY Open. See, pre-London didn't take a console entry as it pushed right at the end of the 5-minute candle. Yeah, sometimes it does that. Like our trade we just took, literally just pushed in the last 8 seconds, I think. Took 5-minute shotgun, price pull back 20.5 pips for a sell hit before going TP. London Open head and shoulders win 25. Nice. Oh, beautiful. You got the buys down over there. Very clean. I was kind of hoping to get more of these ones. I wanted that sell. But yeah, I see the buys are also very nice. Very clean. Look at this. Beautiful entry. Sometimes we're going to do that on MetaTrader. Like it breaks, but you get like a better entry. See, like you possibly got a better entry here. A daily bias. Oh, clean. Yes, this was the one. This is the one that we caught. What'd you get on the next 1 minute? Right when it opened. I still got it on this 1 minute right here. You got it right when the candlestick opened. Straight profit, sir. Straight profit. That's the thing that I like about the way I trade, is because you gotta have a chance to understand that your best trades are the ones which really just move in your direction, right? Like, so you're gonna be able to have more flexibility in what you're trying to do in terms of risk. The moment a trade gives you a hard time, in most conditions, it's gonna be a losing trade. The minute it starts to give you a hard time, you don't want to see that. I think the same could be said for most strategies, but you know, most strategies are also okay with having a bit of drawdown, like a bit longer drawdown. Maybe we can have a drawdown with TFX concepts for like a minute or two, but like after a minute or two, like we expect that price can continue moving in our direction quickly. This is what I'm eyeing. I'm holding some profits as war goes on USD with strength and oil will rise. This looks like a sell. Oh, nice. Sell on gold. Yeah, you can't send a chart like this. There's no context in this whatsoever. You just draw a couple lines here. Very basic chart. You gotta send in a better chart than this. Yeah, at least something like this. 20th February bullish gap. This is on the 30 minute. 30 minute looks good to move up. Clean range. Awesome. Yeah, I think we're gonna have a pretty good week here. Now, targets have been met by 51.26 resistance. So potential buy target on the buyers here have been hit. So congratulations to those of you who are looking for buys on gold. Very well done. Target here has been fully met. Because, you know, at this point, we don't know, like, if price is going to keep moving up. Right? We don't know. We don't know. We're going to expect some kind of a reaction. Profit taking. Something. But this was the range that got filled. And let's see on the 1 minute. Was there an entry confirmation? No. Unless you took just that aggressive kind of break over here. Not the cleanest entry confirmation. After it broke, it pushed like 22 pips and then came down. Retraced kind of like heavy. Yeah, but nothing like super clear. But I would say the clearest part was that 5 minute range. 5 minute candles close above as well. Rebreak. Daily is still down, by the way. Daily is still down 0.80%. So still overall bearish. Look at this massive bearish candle here on the Monday open. It like liquidity grabbed the lows. So yeah, we already saw like 3%, negative 3%. Now we're down negative 0.82%. Could this be a liquidity grab? I mean, we have range to move up. If you notice this right over here on the daily, about 1,195 pips towards that resistance. So it could be setting the tone for what we can expect for the rest of the week up ahead. If this becomes like a liquidity grab, and then the next daily candle, maybe see something more like this. And that's going to fill up to move up to fill that range by the highs. Just the same way that we're going to fill a range right over here on the 5 minute is the same thing that we're going to be expecting there on the daily time frame as well. And you can see it's the same thing. If we zoom out here on the 4 hour, you see the similarities. Can you see it? Write a 1 in the chat if you can see it. If you're following, are we together? That's what I mean. Markets are fractal. If you can't weave and wove your way in and out, like, you know, you're gonna saw something. If you're not good at sawing, then how are you gonna be good at trading? You're gonna be good at trading. You gotta be able to weave your way through the time frames and see the similarities and say, okay, you know, if markets move like this, man, what difference does it make? If I'm on the 4 hour, the 5 minute candle, what difference does it make? You know, that's the first step to enlightenment in the market, you know? Because a lot of people are going to tell you, oh, you got to trade the higher time frames. It's safer. It's not safer. And everything is risky if you don't know what you're doing. Correct? Nothing in life is safe. Right? It's only unsafe if you don't know what you're doing. That's why a pilot is going to tell you, man, flying is the safest way to travel. You know, he's correct about that. But if you're going to be a pilot and you don't know how to fly, it's the most dangerous way that you're going to travel. Right? Because you don't know what you're doing. So everything, you got to know what you're doing. Got to know what you're doing. Once you see it, you can't unsee it. Yes, sir. And it becomes fluid as well. So you're able to get in and out like quite fluidly. That's the whole idea. That, you know, if you're going to be a day trader, it's a skill that you got to learn is how to read all these time frames over here. Like, okay, not all of them, but you got to be able to make sense and see which ones make the most sense for your trading style. But I think for like most day traders on average, we can say from the 1 hour down to the 1 minute will serve us the most. Because those ranges are kind of like sometimes in confluence together. And then the 4 hour and above, obviously that's going to be like, you know, HDF, higher time frame volume and whatnot. It appears to be heating up a bit. Yes, sir. Why is stocks dumping? Gold was dumping and Bitcoin is pumping. It's because that's the nature of the market. That's what it does. Pumps and dumps. Your question, you see where you've messed up? You're asking too many why questions. What does a why question have to do with you? Has nothing to do with you. What does a why question have to do with you right now? You know, well, what are you doing over here? Are you an analyst or are you a trader? Because you don't ask questions. You think I come on the chart to ask why? Man, come on the chart and you got to execute on your plan and say, is this fulfilling my entry requirement? Yes or no? Yes, execute. No, wait. That's it. We're not here to speculate. Leave the speculation for the gamblers and the analysts. You know, you can ask me like, why is DXY moving down and gold's moving up? Man, I don't know. Who gives a shit? Who gives a shit? If I can catch 20, 30 pips, I don't give a shit what direction that price goes. As long as I can get my trade and that's it. And I can call it a day. But let's look at DXY. And let's look at gold. Daily on gold is moving down. Daily on DXY is moving up. Got a nice little inverted correlation. Beautiful. It's nice to see, but how's it going to help you catch any pips? Unless you're trading on the weekly and the monthly time frame, I wouldn't care too much about the correlations. But yeah, we got dollar index. It's coming up over here towards our $100 mark. Where if we break above, it's going to be the same thing that we're seeing on gold in that 4 hour. That we can potentially have that correction off the daily. So a similar thing that would be happening on gold on DXY, but this would be more of a reversal confirmation play. You see, I broke below like support and then accumulate and then break the high. If we go over the gold spot, that was the same thing that we're talking about. That happened over here. Broke below the low. That was that reversal that we had marked out to push up. So that would be a similar thing like on the DXY. So that's kind of like what's printing right now. That's what's printing right now. I know for some of you this might be confusing if it's, you know, your first time on the stream or you're just learning how to trade. But trust me, you just stick with it for a bit and it will start clicking. You know, you got to give yourself at least like, you know, 6 months. Give yourself like 6 months when you're trying to fully conceptualize concepts. You know, you got to give yourself like 6 months. It's not going to happen overnight, but you must be just consistent. That's it. Because a lot of the time we think we know to later find out that we didn't know as much as we thought we knew. So that's why you got to give yourself a timeline of something like 3 to 6 months. So you can find out later if you actually know what you think you know. All right. All right, all right, all right. Drink more water. Get some H2O. I'm asking a question because normal when S&P 500 is dumping, BTC also pumping or also dumping. Yeah, you know, it happens historically even with gold where when there's a war, that gold goes down. So a lot of people are a bit confused about why gold is moving down instead of up, right? But historically it's happened before as well. I think it's just mainly to do with a reallocation of funds. When you talk about like smart money concepts and the market makers, right? They have to balance their books. So you're seeing a lot of those, all of that capital flowing in and through markets. That's creating like these situations that maybe you can't explain from a retail level because you don't have access to that information. But you know, you can know based off of historical data, like certain things like that happen. I mean, it's a lot of money that they move around. You know, these hedge funds and banks, etc. It's a lot of money. That's why for them, something like a risk to reward doesn't make a lot of sense, right? You can't really get risk to reward when you're moving the market. So it's a different kind of a mentality. You see, it's like a higher level. What a lot of people like to do, they like to stay on this level, which is risk to reward level, and also be at that level. So you got your foot in one door and you got your foot in another door. So you're actually just nowhere. You're running in place. You're running in place because you're here as a retail trader. You're thinking that you're going to be a smart money trader without access to information, and you just got to be running in place. That's why you got to like stick on your lane, you know, focus on the things that don't require a lot of like why questions, you know, why this, why that. Not all of us can be Michael Burry, you know, and for you to be like a Michael Burry, then you have to be able to do a lot of due diligence. So you got to focus less on those why questions. I get it, like you want to learn. You can learn. You can ask why and then figure out the answer to that, and that's it. But yeah, look at this. We got price hit resistance and now price is coming out. So we got volume taking. So instead of asking again, why is price coming down? You know, just look at what the chart is saying using the EYS indicator. The best indicator under the sun right now. I've watched so many algos fail. You know, I've seen, you know, people say algo trading is cool. I've seen so many algos fail, so many indicators fail, but I've never seen the EYES indicator fail. That's the only thing under the sun that works, at least as of my knowledge. See, like price moved up, it hit resistance by 51.26. And then price moved down. So that's why price moved down. And we're gonna have like some profit taking. See this? Profit taking over here. Boom. In, out. So that's also again creating an opportunity that you're gonna be able to take a trade later. It's gonna come down, it's gonna set up again, it's gonna create that same opportunity, just like clockwork. Just like clockwork. So we just have to get into the rhythm of doing that, yeah. Because when we pointing out like this on stream, maybe it seems obvious when I'm doing it. Then when you're trading alone, it starts to become a bit confusing again. So you just have to keep repeating that same action over and over. You get better at doing that and seeing that and the type of opportunities you can catch with that. These other trades here, these are just trades that, you know, we can take, we can make a bit of money and whatnot, but it wouldn't be the cleanest approach towards trading. You know, if you want to be a lot more cleaner towards your approach to trading, just wait for those entry confirmations like we had during pre-London over here. Correct that range. Like you just had these buy confirmations over here, correct this range. Like you could have gotten a sell here to also correct that range. We're going to investigate on the 1 minute. And just the same way as you could possibly get a buy to fill this next range up here. I think those are the ones that you want to be like mainly focused on as a kind of a beginner. Because, man, as a beginner, the most important thing that's going to be for you is to secure a 1-to-1 and at least take the trade in an area which makes sense, not in an area which is like lots of wicks and stuff. That's going to be the most important thing for beginner and anyone really facing some kind of a difficulty. It's just to reduce the amount of trades from quantity to quality. Because what I'm doing right now, it's a mixture of quality and quantity, right? So you can see I'm just executing. I'm just executing and allowing the clusters here to play out. I'm allowing, because, you know, this is a system I've been trading for years. So I kind of like just have faith in it. It's like that trust fall where you're going to fall and someone's going to catch you. That's what I do with my trading strategy. I just fall and I just say, okay, winning, losing, winning, losing. But for most people, man, like, especially if you're not consistent, profitable, yeah, you can't trust fall. What are you going to trust for? You can't even trust that. You can't trust someone you don't know. So how are you going to trust fall? So that's why it's so important for you that you focus on the things that you can trust with certainty, correct? Like, because you're going to have a line of people and you're going to keep falling, right? So, you know, someone in the line is going to pop up and you're going to like, hey, this is my buddy over here. I can trust fall. Well, the most time is going to be a random person who's going to come, and then you're going to trust fall on a random person you can't trust. So just think about it that way, because the market is always coming at you with different setups, right? You have so many different setups coming your way. You don't have to take each one. What time does the stream start? 4 a.m. Eastern. I think you gotta go on here. Forex market hours time zone converter. Like even Baby Pips has one right over here. Then you just change the time. Change the time, and then you're gonna see London open. London, New York session is opening here at 8 a.m. Still got New York session opening still at the same time. Very nice, clean PA this is. Hey, but good morning. Morning. Consistent and disciplined as hell? Yes, sir. You know, really all that comes down to is just, in life, it's always about having a system, like consistency and discipline. That's just all it is. So, you know, like even with your trading, man, everybody got to know that this is a time John is trading. So if John is consistently trading London open, then it's going to be a lot easier for you to trade without any kind of distractions. But you know, if you're just trading at any time of the day and that sort of thing, then obviously at that point there's no consistency. You're lying, man. Sometimes when I'm lying in bed, I see a setup. And I'm like, man, I want to take this trade. But then I think to myself, man, I'm still in bed right now. I'm still in bed. I can't take this trade in bed. You know, there's a difference between treating this like a business and treating this like a kind of like a gamble. You know, when I was learning how to trade, I used to see videos of Mamba FX flipping account challenges, and he would be on the toilet trading with his phone. And but you don't want to trade like that, man. That's a lot of stress, and there's no consistency in that. So you gotta wait till you're on the desk and however you trade, and make sure you're just following that same routine. Because success at the end of the day, it has nothing much to do with home runs. It has more to do with patterns. So you only fall to the success of your patterns, not to your breakthroughs. Everybody looking for that aha moment. Like, oh man, like tell me about your aha moment with trading. Man, aha moment is built on many smaller positive habits. The aha moment. So when it happens, it doesn't even feel like a aha moment. It just feels like, okay, it just makes sense. It makes sense because we've been making these small incremental gains daily, that when you get there, you're like, okay, it's a gradual thing. So you're not even going to feel it. That's how you ideally want it to look, correct? That's why they say a good equity curve also looks something like this, right? So when you get up there, you're like, that looks pretty nice. But it wouldn't look something like this, or like that, or like this. I just noticed something. Your trading style is the same as Raja, and Raja trade on the 1530 on the 1 hour chart, while I trade on a lower time frame. Not really. He doesn't trade the 1 minute though. Maybe some concepts are kind of similar, but 100% my bread and butter trades is completely different. Completely different. The only thing that you might be saying as a similarity is maybe these candles when they close above resistance or support and then keep moving up, right? That's what you're thinking. But that's just the way the market moves in general. So it has nothing really to do with Raja. It just has to do with the market. It's like saying the guy who figured out how to trade a breakout from a consolidation. Then you say, oh, you trade breakouts like this guy. But it's like the market only moves in 3 directions. It only moves up, sideways, and down. So when you're going to look at the candlesticks only going to print a certain way each time that can create a certain result. So yeah, I think it's a good thing that we're all on the same page though, because that means that we're looking at something that really works, correct? Because we're not too out there. Like you see some of these traders, they're a bit too out there with their pivot points and all this complicated stuff. Then at the same time, there's nothing special about it. It's just more complicated, because the market is still going to do this anyway at the end of the day, right? It's still going to move down, sideways, and move up. It doesn't matter how cool your chart looks, it's still going to do that. So you only got to get better at how can I read the candles, right? Some people, when they see me using SMAs, they're like, what is this secret thing over here with the SMAs? Nothing secret about the SMAs. The SMAs are a momentum indicator. I trade looking for momentum. So they're just some kind of a confluence. But man, some people are going to come on, they're going to put the SMAs and going to say, all right, so we're trading above the 200 SMA today, so we're bullish. And you can say, okay, so this pair now is trading below the 50 SMA, so we're bearish. You can't trade like that. You got to look at the candles at the end of the day. Like they say in Formula 1, cash is king. In trading, price action is king. So yeah, I think that's what you're going to focus on when you say I trade like Raja. It's because he focuses on price action. I think the biggest similarity with PA traders is clean ranges, 100%. Because we see it day in and day out, them get it. And they're going to call it all manner of different things, You can call this free delivery ranges. You can call it clean traffic. You can call it clean zones. You can call it whatever you want to call it. But at the end of the day, it's like the same thing that we're all kind of looking at there. It doesn't mean that we all trade the same. Clearly, we all have different results, right? If we all trade the same, we all have the same results. But it's a matter of execution and application which differentiates one trader from the next. So yeah, okay, so this guy could look at clean range to here. I could look here, but this guy might have 30 pips stop loss. I might have 16 pips stop loss. This guy might get it on 15. I might get it on 1 minute. But as long as we're all kind of like in consensus and we're in the same sentiment of where price is heading, I think is the most important thing. That's why I always focus my trades kind of like objectively. I try to, at least, as objective as I can. And then that entry is going to give you your edge. So it's just the same way that I said when I'm trying to figure out my diet to get me to like 10 to 12% body fat, right? What essentially I did is the same thing I did with trading. We have like a line in the middle, right? So this is the average. So you want to get everybody's information and see, okay, how is this guy calculating calories? How's that guy calculating calories? How does this guy think about deficits? How does that guy think about deficits? And then you take all of that information and then you average it out. So it's as streamlined as you possibly can be so that you're correct. You've taken all these concepts and you've streamlined it. So you know that you're moving as correct as possible, not that you're just focusing on just one individual perspective on the matter, because that is where you go wrong, right? Because sometimes, man, you're going to see a lot of people are wrong, especially on the internet. When you get information from the internet, man, you got to get a lot of false information in the internet if you're not careful. So that's the whole idea with trading. You know, we consolidate all this candlesticks here, and then we break it down to what possible ways can anyone take these buys in like a average, in like, how do you say it, in a way that's not too specialized and in a way that you can consistently see. So you have to look at all the edges, all the angles of what could make somebody take a trade there that makes sense to you. And then you kind of like average it out and say, okay, I think this is going to be the safest way for me to do it. Right? Because remember, people caught these buys and they all caught them trading differently. So for me, this would have been a breakout right above here. As candlestick was breaking out on accumulation breakout. Boom. With that clean range confluence. Because look, like even here, there's only a certain amount of ways. It's currently at a point A, so it hasn't yet distributed anywhere. It's not even set up yet, but there's only a certain amount of ways that you're going to catch the next move that's about to come in. So we haven't had a move yet, right? That next move is either going to be bullish candlesticks moving up like this, or candlesticks moving down like this, right? We haven't had it yet. It's coming. That move is coming. It's not yet come, but this is the idea. Pause. This is the idea. Wait for the setup and the structure, and there's only going to be a certain amount of ways that that move is going to come out of that area. So you have to investigate that and say, is this something that I can actually catch? You know, what's the probability that this happens over and over and over again? Right? So for example, right over here, we have one explanation. Price moved up and then it moved down. So that's like a V-shaped reversal, right? There's not a lot of structure in this scenario. The only thing you could have said maybe is because it's a profit target area over here. But you know, the tricky thing with like just selling these areas is the stop loss. You can never get the stop loss like consistent. You know, so sometimes it might like spike up more, sometimes less. That's the difficult part about just selling highs and buying lows. So you gotta investigate and say, okay, like what other angles could I have taken this trade? Maybe at the break of the lows over here, but is that something that you can consistently get away with? So you can like backtest this. So hit profit target and then break of the lows to go in your favor. So you can see here as well, hit profit target towards the lows on the 15. Break of, this is how you actually used to trade before. Break of the highs and then to keep moving up. But you only got to know for a fact after a little bit of time passes, right? So like give yourself like 3 months. After 3 months passes, you're actually going to figure out whether that actually works. Because most of the time it's, when we have these concepts and we just do them like this willy-nilly, it seems like it can just keep working out. But you're truly going to know when you start forward testing in like 3 months. Right? So for me, when I saw this situation happen a lot, there was nothing I could do to catch these types of moves. Even though I knew after a clean range, we can have a reaction of resistance. Right? So even on the 1 minute, there was nothing. But here we at least had structure. And we could see something that we can execute on. Here, it's a bit more random. It's like just V-shape reversals. Even right now, it's still a bit more random until like maybe this candle here pulls down and breaks these lows, or candle here pulls down and re-breaks the highs by like 51.08. But right now, it's still a bit of like random movement. So it's important to differentiate, to be able to differentiate that and not fall into this trap of thinking that's a FVG or that's a support. I could do this, I could do that. In theory, you can do anything. You know, you can do anything you want, but how can you do that consistently? That's why I don't focus on too much. Like in a situation like this, I don't focus too much on what happened here because that's in the past, correct? Now I'm focusing more about what's currently happening right over here. And that's going to give me the best possible edge as candlesticks print. I don't understand how people trust left side liquidity for a long time ago. I know what you mean left side liquidity. Everything is liquidity on the left side. Because you know we're gonna trade moving right. We don't trade moving left. So everything in the past here is liquidity. So when you say I don't understand how people trust left side liquidity, it's like, bro, when you're crossing the street, you gotta look left, right? You gotta look left. You gotta look left, depending on what country you live, I guess. But you gotta see like where the cars are coming from. You gotta look both sides, but you get the idea. You get the idea. Because in trading we gotta look left so we can see where price is heading to next. So you see like all this over here, all that is liquidity. And now you only have this candlestick, which is in real time, this candle. So you see, as this candle here starts to break these lows, we can see there's some kind of setup that's formed over there. Got a TFX setup, but could be a bit cleaner because that kind of spiked up a bit too high. Well, just the same way we caught these sells. You know, you gotta see left, liquidity. Boom. Same way you could caught these buys. Those buys actually were really nice as well because they had a reversal play from right over here. So you see those sells played out here. Boom, boom, boom. Broke the lows, distributed. And then the buys also played out over here as well. A little accumulate, then it broke above, then distributed. So it's like a small little reversal play right there. So you see we're going to look left and also say what's currently happening now that can give us an edge. Because sometimes you have, when price moves, especially when it moves, it triggers people into positions, right? So you're always thinking like, okay, so you know, if you got sells over here, you got sellers in the market. This is basically that insurance that the market gives to them when it breaks and then it hovers like that, because now they can manage their risk if they're smart enough, you know? So instead of losing, let's say if they put stops above structure about here like 85 pips, they could lose like 14 pips. But with this system, trading with such a big stop loss, it is more of an L than a W, because we're banking off the fact that people already got paid from such moves. Like there's like 54 pips. Instead of being like really safe, you know, people like being really safe in the market. So they have these really wide stop losses, right? They like to be safe. But sometimes that's more dangerous because, again, you're getting a lot of exposure and people are already probably in and out, whilst you're still waiting for your safety net. People are already in and out. It's a bit more dangerous sometimes, you know. Like if you ever play, let's say video games, right? So in video games also have like a natural progression, especially competitive online shooters. They have a natural progression. If you're too safe, you're not flowing with the game properly. So you end up actually just dying a lot of the time. Because maybe like you're respawning. No, because maybe the enemy team is already respawning behind you, but you're playing so safe that you haven't figured out that the flow has changed and your team is on the other side now. So you're looking at the wrong direction and you get a shot in the back because you're playing too safe. So I think like for gamers, they're gonna kind of understand this example here better. But yeah, You gotta flow with it because it's consistently competitive, right? It's literally like a video game. It's competitive and it keeps flowing and keeps changing. This is why I'm good at what I do. This is why I'm good at trading. This is why I'm good at gaming. Like you can see my stats over here on Battlefield. Man, top of the leaderboard when the game just came out. Already hacked it. See it like this? Just completely melting people. This is why I'm good at this. Trading. This is why I'm good at gaming. And now I'm going to show you this is why I'm going to be good at fitness as well. So you got my boy here, Woods, looking all good. Okay, hairy guy over here. Hairy guy over here. Now you see this? Man, now I'm going to show you. Now I'm going to show you guys. Life is a simulation. Simple. Yeah, we're going to kill it, Woods. I'll send you the plan. You can be good at literally anything you want to be good at, chat. Like you just have to be able to cultivate that kind of like ability to do the right due diligence on things. So you're not moving too fast all the time. Like, I need to get rich. I need the signal right now. I need a Lamborghini tomorrow. You know? So you shift that mindset from that to something a bit more like, let's move correct. Let's not waste time. If I'm building a freaking mansion, I'm going to tell the guy, if this is going to take us 5 years, let's do it in 5 years. Okay? Because I want to move correct. I don't want to move fast. They're gonna slaughter these things, man. Life is all a video game. You're not here for a long time, so push yourself to what you're able to achieve really every day. Just keep pushing yourself. It's not a comfortable procedure. Success is a very uncomfortable procedure. It's very uncomfortable, and some days you feel like you're working too hard. You know, even like Elon Musk says, he wishes it on nobody the way that how hard he works, because you know when you're gonna think a lot, man, your brain hurts. Literally, your brain hurts, you get physically tired, but you know, that's the beauty of pushing yourself and playing the devil's advocate. Because personally, man, I don't trust myself. So whenever I'm diving into something, I take a few steps forward and then I judge myself and say, okay, am I moving correct? Really, Vic? Is this the correct way? Can we do something else, Vic? Like, that's literally what you have to be in life. You know, always play that devil's advocate. Move a bit ahead and then second guess the hell out of yourself. You know, are you moving correct? Really? Are you rushing things? Are you sure this is it? Have you tried all other things? And you know, in that process of getting better, man, your brain hurts, bruh. Your brain hurts and you get on edge sometimes. But like when you break through, man, it is beautiful. It's such a nice feeling. Like to put that much effort in now and then break through. Because you know the scope of challenge that you're undertaking, right? You know how long or how much focus or energy you need to put into it to actually get into the breakthrough. Some challenges, I agree, are going to take you much longer. Can take you years. So you need to learn how to pace yourself for those. But there are these small things that we can do on a day-to-day basis that we can achieve. That even in like 1 or 3 or 5 days or a week, that if we just keep pushing ourselves, man, that breakthrough is beautiful. And you know, right now in this day and age, with the amount of information that's already in your pocket, that device in your pocket, man, like, it should not take you as long as it used to take other people. You got AI as well. AI can help you with those equations and everything that you need to do to kind of like help you keep pushing. You know, I don't know how to explain it, but that's just what it is. You just need to be that kind of a person. Most of the things you see online are a lot of like fugazi. A lot of these influencers trading and leaving a lifestyle, a lot of that is fugazi. You're not going to achieve it that easily. I'll tell you that as a fact. You're not going to achieve it that easily. You have to already be the kind of person who's pushing themselves like on a daily basis. That's why some of you might be hearing this and you're like, man, what's this guy talking about? Where's this guy's Lamborghini? I saw this guy, Lamba Raul, has like 3 Bugattis. Surely it can't be that difficult. This guy makes it look so easy. They make it look easy when you've gotten your breakthrough already. What do you think of futures trading with Apex? Is cheaper and you can have up to 20 accounts at once? I would say focus on your education, because then you wouldn't be asking those types of questions. You know, like I can tell I get it that we're all just trying to learn over here, but you gotta focus on your education first, more than anything else. Like, well, what I think about futures with Apex and it being cheaper to have 20 accounts, I don't know. I would just say focus on one account. That's gonna be your real account, where that's like $500. And if you can't even grow a $500 account and you're already thinking about futures, Apex, 20 accounts, Lamborghini, what the hell are we doing here? You can't even grow a $500 account. You know, so that's what I would say to myself. Like, if you're already profitable, you wouldn't ask that question. So you see, there's a way that you can always digress from. If someone asks you a question here, you can digress and say, okay, this guy is not really supposed to be here. He should actually be here working on this. Because, you know, the problem is the guy who's here working on this, he's moving forward. Problem with the guy who's here, he's moving back. So you're going to spend the same amount of years. This guy's maybe going to take, like, let's say 1 year. 1 year moving this way, and you're going to spend 1 year moving that way. So you don't want to do that. You're going to be moving forward, not backwards, correct? So why are you starting here? Start here. Like, if I ask you, what did you end, Jay, what did you end last month PNL wise? What was your percent for not even 1 month? Let's say the last quarter. What did you do in profits PNL percentage wise in the last quarter? Let's start there before 20 accounts. And it's not like I'm targeting you. This is more like using you as an example for how a lot of people like you think, and which is 90% plus people in the industry. They're all going to ask the same exact questions that you just asked right now. So it's not a dumb question. It's just a question that you shouldn't be asking, I think. But if you rephrase that a bit differently, then, you know, maybe it'll sound a lot nicer. But you also got to be honest with yourself, you know, because if you try and lie to me and you know deep down inside that that's not the truth, you're not lying to me. Just remember you're lying to yourself. Because you also got to be honest. That's what we're missing, is a lot of honesty with ourselves. And if we're a bit more honest with ourselves, I think the world would be a much more peaceful place. You know? People are not really honest with themselves. Like for me, one of the things, and it's something we're all going to experience in trading, is losing friends and a social life. So whilst you're losing your friends and your social life, your buddies are going to be like, hey, I don't see you around so much. You got to be honest with yourself. Like, yeah, I'm a shitty friend right now. It's because I'm working on myself. You know, and that clears up a lot of a miscommunication that you can have, because to do great things, you have to go into solitude as well. So honesty is quite important. So don't try and have 1 foot here and 1 foot there and try play both places. It's most of the time you're kind of spreading yourself a bit too thin. If you're trying to achieve something in a very short period of time, it will require like a massive sacrifice. But you know, it's a beautiful thing. Like if you start sacrificing now, in a time span of 3 months, you already can see some really exponential development. They say a little bit of pain now for a lifetime of freedom, right? You gotta sacrifice, man. Sacrifice. Like, it's important because like, if you've already taken a losing trade for the day and you felt like revenge trading, just remember that's just a little bit of pain right now for you to not overtrade, right? For you to not always want to feel like a winner. Just a little bit of pain, you know, a little bit of discipline. I can take this L. You know, like, what is it called? The Biggest Loser Wins. If you've ever read that book before, I think that's what it's called. The Biggest Loser Wins. Right? Just a little pain right now, you know, just don't try and fight the market. Just accept that that's the pain that you're feeling for now, for a lifetime of freedom. Once you get discipline, a lifetime of freedom. If you see a lot of these marathon runners, you think they're like waking up in the morning and training and doing all of these things? No, but they know discipline is going to set them free. So that's what trading is. In the beginning, you gotta feel like getting lucky and getting lucky fast. Then you get addicted to it later. And you're gonna be like, man, I feel bad when I'm not disciplined. See, like right here, there's nothing. Price is just kind of like trickling to the upside. I'm just watching it print. I'm waiting to see if there was anything that was cooking up here. But there's nothing. There's nothing here as well. But it's trying to fill the 5-minute range to keep moving up here. You see, this is the next opportunity. It's about like 174 pips. That's what it's trying to fill up. But you see, it's trickling, right? There's no setup. Even look at the way it's moving. It's kind of like hesitating because there's been no setup. Like generally speaking, of course, price can always like these V-shaped reversals, but in a time span, if you backtest a lot of this corrections, there should be some confirmation to give that correction a good chance of obviously correcting. There should be some kind of a confirmation, because remember, like traders, we're the ones moving the market, right? So if we see something appetizing, then you're gonna notice that price starts to move. That's the same reason why we're just paper trading here and seeing these breakouts play out. We see something appetizing, price moves. Something appetizing, price moves. Something appetizing, you see the sell over here, price moves. Look again, these buys. I'm not picking the best case scenarios. If you're in the TFX mentorship, backtest since the London Open right now, and tell me if I'm cherry picking based off what's in the WAP database. But you're gonna see, you got confirmation. This one, you got that inverted right here, confirms, and then price moves. You should be getting some kind of a movement. See, like right here, it's still cooking, so no movement yet. So it's more just random PA building. But look, if we were able to create like some kind of a support, if we created some kind of a support and then broke these highs, you'll probably see a reaction and then a movement like we just saw previously here. Or if it breaks the highs, or if it breaks the lows, because now that's going to give us our range high and range low, and then we get some kind of a movement. But you kind of want to avoid certain situations like this, like generally speaking, right? Generally speaking, just wait for it. Let's see if this candlestick here pulls up. It's not about knowing everything in the market. It's about knowing what you know. Are you good at what you do and what you trade and what you know? That's strategy. Like I know a bunch of people can say, oh, there's something happening here, or maybe there's a divergence or an RSI or something of the sort. But based off like what you know, are you good at anticipating the moves? You don't have to know everything. You just have to be good at what you know. Price is sharking. Yeah, it's an important thing. Like you might take that lightly, what I just said, but it's really important because when I was learning how to trade, I was more focused on how much I knew. So I thought the more I knew, the more money I was gonna make. But in reality, the more I knew, the more money I was losing, and the more overcomplicated it became. And then I started focusing more on like what I know, and then that kind of helped me understand trades a bit better. So we have situations like this, for example. What do you know about clean ranges? They tend to get filled. Awesome. So stick with that. That's a foundational concept of what you know, which is solid, right? And now keep building on top of that. So you can even see like right here, range fill, right here, range fill. Awesome. Easiest one to explain to most people. Why digital gold saving startup jar is under police scanner? The probe comes at a time when digital gold platforms are gaining popularity among Indian consumers looking to invest small amounts of gold through mobile. It could be breaking into a larger range right here. It needs to accumulate orders just like it did over here before we had this break to the upside. It's probably gonna do the same thing here. Gonna try and accumulate a bit more and then have the move. I've been profitable after watching you for some time. I almost gave up, but now I have faith it'll work out. Amazing to hear that, PMG. Yeah, you must just fall in love with the process. Just keep doing that and you will be fine, my friend. You will be just fine. Fall in love with the process, but also always be looking to refine. Just refine, but don't change what works, correct? Don't change what works. Because the worst thing you want to do is, let's say, trade ICT for one whole year and then get totally disappointed with it and then scrap that. And then move over to, like, let's say TFX concepts. And then, you know, you can always still kind of build upon, because, you know, at that point, you're just kind of like learning on your own, right? You're just learning through what you see on YouTube. So you just kind of learn like, okay, so this ICT, there's a foundational concepts which make the most sense. Maybe the rest of it is garbage. And move on to the next thing and say, okay, you know, the foundational concepts here as well. How does that work with that? Right? How does that work with that? So now you see we're getting into that beautiful research phase of streamlining. So you're going to see a lot of cluster over here, a lot of these traders and their different ideas. And then you're connecting the dots to how does it work together? Then that's kind of how you find your, I guess that's a process of finding your edge, right? For a lot of us, when you're still trying to figure out on your own. Yeah. Still setting up. Nothing really too appetizing at this point. 15 just looks like it's still on the way down from this retracement right over here after hitting targets. Boom, small retracement, mini support. Might break below that support to keep pushing down. But I think what a lot of us are looking at is this resistance right here. We want to see that get broken. And we can all execute in a different manner of ways, but we all want to see that this area here is going to get broken. This could come in as a accumulation break. It could come in as a impulse entry at the break of that wick, a candlestick close, and any way else that you can see the market consistently. But something is going to happen here at 51.10 that's going to be very appetizing to all manner of traders. Because we know like coming down is a bit tricky. Like coming down again, we're going to need a volume-based play like what we had in London Open to break below these lows. You got support, support. But man, those buys pretty straightforward to a lot of us. It is a 175 pip range to continue moving up bullish. And you're gonna see kind of replicate what happened here. Expect that to replicate here as well. There you see that beautiful push. Same thing. Beautiful push. Maybe this is gonna be the whole accumulation area here. This might be my pre-New York trade right here, chat. So we're gonna see 511, 551.11. We're gonna see what happens, what time that it breaks. I prefer to break more in like the next 30 minutes, really. Because right now we're kind of like in this candlestick, this hourly candle, which I don't really expect it to do much. You can see as well, it's currently like a doji right now. It's just accumulating. So that's exactly what a doji candle is. Small body, long wicks. All that means is equal amount of force between the buyers and the sellers. Boom, create a doji. What does that mean on the LTF? It looks something more like this. Accumulation. And what does that mean? That tension, it's like a tug of war. You know, it's like a tug of war. So that tension is gonna create a distribution. You know, one side is gonna let go of the rope, and then price is gonna move either bullish or bearish. You see, that's what trading is. At the end of the day, buyers and sellers, tug of war. Who's gonna win the pools, right? So I believe in simplicity. That's what I believe in. So if you're looking to find like some kind of a smart money indicators, this is not the place for that. Like, you're gonna believe in simplicity and what we call organic trading. This is that organic vegan trading. That simple shit that's super expensive for no reason. Why is it so expensive? It's so simple, like everything looks so good and it's so expensive. And then you have these other peanut butters and everything that look so colorful and everything, and they're so cheap. You know, all these other products look so exciting, but they're so cheap. And then the products which are good for you, they're so clean. Like the labeling is clean, everything is simple. It's so expensive. That's what you gotta focus on. That's what you gotta focus on, is simplicity. Yeah, this thing is not moving. I thought what would happen here is at least create like some kind of a support. Like this. Right here, that's this level. And then break the high. Then we would have like a mini setup within the range, like from here to here. It was literally a mini setup, which is the exact same thing that happened right over here. And that looked a lot more cleaner too. Like 50, 5100. Do you see a bearish movement with a change of structure on the daily chart? If it moves down, it moves down. We're going to take sells. But yeah, I do see a potential further downside on gold. Like right now, gold just does not give me much confidence that it's going to move up. I think like until this energy crisis is over, or until things stabilize in the Middle East, we might not see that type of a movement on gold. Until money can get loose somewhere in the ecosystem. You know? There's no indicator that's going to tell you that. But until they can get loose in other investments, stocks, what have you. Maybe they're just going a lot heavier on things like oil at the moment. Because remember, like institutions focus more on the fundamental work. Correct? So for them, gold buys when there's a war. It can also be a bit of a vanilla idea. I think there's a lot more opportunity when you look at different sectors, the energy sector, the oil sector, etc., whatever. Right? So I think that's why a lot of that money has been pulled out of gold and we're not seeing a lot of movement. So until that starts to calm down, I think gold might just end up like bouncing around for a bit before any like really meaningful follow-throughs. Was that the distribution? But it just wasn't clean at all. Like I could get that there's something cooking up maybe here, but yeah, it could definitely look a lot more cleaner. I can see how people can see that as well. But for me, I think it could look a bit cleaner. But I see the distribution. Remember, trading is an art. It's like these oil paintings, you know, like sometimes it's like very straightforward. Sometimes it's not. But I can see how someone can see that to lead to this reaction over here. This wasn't as structurally sound. It looks like we're not gonna fill up the range to the upside right now. But if the candles start pulling up, I think it would look a little bit more obvious if we start having like some bullish candles like this. And that would be an accumulation. But otherwise, it just happened kind of fast. It just broke right here. Instead of like pulling up and playing a bit more, make it more clean, it kind of broke. So I think it's playing out from this 15-minute retracement. Like it's just what you call like a momentary pullback to continue the downward motion. So it's like you got massive selling pressure here, a small pullback, and then the release. So it was accumulating to break, but it wasn't accumulating just as much as it was on this previous trade over here. Yeah, that one kind of required more of an aggressive type of an entry for sure. Big fish selling gold due to the demand for buy. I'm the worst loser working on it. Look, if you, a good way to work on the feeling of being like a loser, for example, is just learning to rest but not give up. Because you know sometimes you gotta take a break, but when you take the break, make sure it's like a break that's you're coming back stronger, not that you're coming back with the same bad loser mentality. All right, so yeah, I mean sometimes you gotta feel a bit of defeat, take a small step back, and then just really reevaluate and come back stronger. That's it. And just keep doing that. But you know, a problem a lot of people do is they're gonna take like big breaks. Say, oh man, trading was so difficult last week, so I'm gonna take like a month break off here, need to recalibrate, you know, because that sometimes that humbling process is too much. It's too much. So that's where we fall off, is when we take too long of a break. So I'll just remember this video right here.
Somebody, you get this done to you. All they want to do to you. That's all they want to do.
Yeah, you just gotta be like, man, if that's all that you want to do for me, and if it happens too much, then I'm gonna need a break. I'm gonna need like one week off. Or not even a week off. I think a week off trade is a pretty long break. I would just say a significant break would be like a Friday, Saturday, Sunday. Most of the time. So that always been my natural progression with trading. Is whenever I feel like mentally it's too much, then I'm always gonna push myself up until Thursday. And then Friday, Saturday, Sunday, I take off because I know the weekends are off anyway. You take off a Friday. So you have a long enough time to come back to the market fresh again. So that's always been some kind of a pattern that I've had with my trades. Even like last week, I didn't trade on Friday. So it's like, okay, so I was so disciplined this week. I did all that I could. I still took a trade on Friday. It was a winning trade. And then I just called it a weekend. But like, you just gotta find a way to not give up, but to rest, to see where that you can distribute your energy more wisely. All right. So it's a brand new week. We should all be fresh for this new week. So I don't want to hear anybody crying about anything. You know, we should have been pretty fresh here to start off the week. Even if you start off the week with a loss, man, try and keep that same tempo. Because you see, it doesn't feel as bad now. But a loss towards the end of the week is going to feel a lot more worse. If you take a loss, like, let's say, mid of the week, this is where a lot of people fall off. On Wednesday or like on a Thursday or something, maybe on Friday, like towards the end of the week, you're going to fall off because it's like you've already, you know, okay. So the human body is just overstimulated, right? In this day and age, we just have a lot of what we call your cortisol levels are already naturally high. Everything in society is designed for you to fail with a high cortisol level. You're always on TikTok. First thing in the morning, you're on your phone. You're always on social media. Like the human body is just generally way too overstimulated. So your cortisol levels and your stress levels are already naturally high. So you have to look, well, not naturally, but because of life, now they're pretty high on average. So you gotta see like, how can you keep that same tempo without losing your head? Right? So you're going to feel good on a Monday. You're going to perform good on a Monday. Tuesday, Wednesday, life catches up or stress increases. Then you start to lose. So that's what you like mainly got to like look and tweak and see, how can I make this as less stressful as I possibly can? And that's what we always say. There are always ways to do this. Taking less trades has always been the one that most people will go to. 1 or 2 trades a day. Simple. Right? 1 or 2 trades a day. Keeping your entry confirmation simple. Not FOMOing into trades. Managing your risk, which is a big one. A huge stress factor right here for a lot of people is over trading, over risking. Right? It's the simple things. You've heard them all before. It's not your first time hearing this. Right? But you're still not implementing them. You're still FOMOing. You're still revenge trading. It's a new week. You know, you're still overcomplicating. So once we stop doing that, then I guess it becomes a lot more manageable. Don't fall into those same bad habits, chat. Come on. I know you guys. I know you. I know you. You know me. I know you. I know that you know me. And I know that you know me, that I know you. I know that you know that I know you.
I mean, come on. I know you. You know you. And I know you know that I know you.
Dodgeball. OG movie. All right, let's see. What time is it right now? I know that you know that I know you. That's what the market says. It's like, okay, so I'm going to give you the setup here, Bob. I know this is not exactly your setup, but I know that you know that I know you. So it's going to make this setup not as appetizing, but it will still give you something. So that's exactly what happened here for me, for example. Like it gave a setup. I can see the possibility of that move, but it definitely is not clean. And it's just going to test to see if you're actually going to take it. But you don't have to take it. Remember, like, okay, look, so if you're going to miss a move like that, for example, let's just say I was trading and then I missed this move. That next move is literally about to print. If you're using TFX concepts, that is. I don't know about any other concepts, but every hourly candle is going to give you at least 1 or 2 opportunities. So if you miss this one, what's the stress? Just wait a bit longer. The next setup is it's just about form right now, chat. It's just about form, and then maybe it's going to look a lot better, a lot cleaner than this. And then you're going to be much more happier that you took that one. So I think like when you know how frequent your setups come, then it's much more, it makes a lot more sense for you to be patient. I would say that would be the biggest hack that I'm going to leave you here with today, is figure out the frequency of your setups per hourly candlestick. So, you know, like if you're going to miss, like sometimes I come onto the chart and if I look at the hourly and the hourly has already done 2 setups, I know I'm towards the tail end of that hourly candle in terms of moves, especially if it pushes towards a certain direction. Then it's like, okay, I know there's maybe like 30 more minutes left. We could maybe get one in terms of a retracement. But if I'm looking for continuation to the upside, and we've already had 2 of them play out since the hourly open, there's a higher risk factor that comes with that. But I know when the new hourly candlestick opens up, it's going to create me like brand new opportunities to catch the first moves. The first moves of the hourly candle are usually the best, to be honest, in my opinion. The ones that come later are a bit more risky. Like if you look at this hourly, for example, I think this one already just had 1 move, which was this sell right over here. It's only had 1 move, so it's still relatively fresh, even though we're coming towards the tail end of it. It's only had 1 move, and it wasn't even the cleanest move. So I know this hourly candle can still, at this point in time, still give something interesting. But we got about 20 minutes. 20 minutes till the next hourly open. I think that's when I want to take my... It's probably when I'm going to take my 3rd trade of the day. Unless something really cooks up over here. Something good. If you can dodge a wrench, you can dodge a ball. I used to love that movie. I think I watched it... Man, I watched it a lot. Because I had I think I had the CD. CD? What is a CD? When is the last time y'all saw CDs? I can't remember last time I saw a CD. Just don't exist. Wanted to take a counter trend buy to fill up that range. Oh. Yeah, there's a lows over here. So I would also want to look for some kind of a buy. I think would be the best idea, because we are currently at support. So you got a bunch of rejection wicks here. Yeah, I think I'm gonna look for a buy, hopefully. But the daily is so heavily bearish as well, man. You know, structurally, I've been doing the opposite. Like even here, I took a sell when the sells didn't look appetizing. But it's just because we have so much bearish momentum. But technically speaking, I would rather take a buy. It just makes more sense. We're at support. We're rejecting support. But the volume is telling us something different. As you can see. Look at these complete sell-offs right here. Look at the sell-off right here. Complete different thing. So it'll just depend on the setup and what direction the setup's going to break. Because if you look at all TFX confirmations, and if you still don't know what TFX confirmations is and you've been watching for 3 months, then, you know, this is always just going to be entertainment for you. But if you watch from the London Open, all those setups broke exactly where they needed to break. So they played out exactly the way they needed to play out. So there were no real fake outs. There was no real fake outs. So it's going to be the same idea here. If it gives me a TFX confirmation and it breaks where it needs to break, then I'm just going to go with the market. As much as I want to take a buy, man, it's not up to me. It's up to the market. You know, it shouldn't give us an entry confirmation if it doesn't want to move in that direction. Just the way that I look at it. Appreciate that's how Woods gave me the advice to not even look at the trading stuff over the weekend. 7 days a week. I've been trying to improve. Yeah, awesome. Yeah, I feel like most traders are going to do Monday, Tuesday. So always towards the end of the week when things get a bit sticky. It's a natural progress, right? It's usually a natural progress. That's how it always used to be for me. Over the weekend, so much due diligence, so much back testing, ready for the week. I'm trying to follow my plans. Monday, Tuesday, when Wednesday comes about, oh, something new I've learned. And then I'm already changing the system. So as I'm changing the system in the middle of the week, that's also just going to affect the rest of the week's trading because now you're still fidgeting with the parameters of your entries, right? So you still got to like, now it starts to get a bit crazy. But you see, Monday, Tuesday, always the best because you kind of like always come in with a fresh mindset and a fresh way of executing what you're planned to execute. So just always keep that in mind. And just be honest with yourself. Like, man, if you're still learning how to trade, it's all good. It's all good. Don't expect perfection this week. You know, just give yourself time. Yeah, just give yourself time. That's what I mean. Like it could cook up right here, and then either break below these lows or possibly break above that high, right here by 5100. But it needs to set up. I know this is a pretty massive range that way in as well. Since we hit the profit targets up there, and since you got support down over here, it could end up breaking below these lows by 50.86 and then just distribute heavily from this general area over here. I see this as a pretty big wave, but I would like to catch the smaller one right over here as we start to break, if we do end up breaking the lows. It was basically the same idea, but on like a kind of like a smaller scale of what was happening over here when I first came onto stream. Like I was looking to catch this. It's a much bigger consolidation here, but then we started creating like a smaller wave right over here. So I was looking to catch the smaller wave within the bigger wave, anticipating like a lot of volume. So that's what we might be looking at here, chat. I'm gonna leave with that. So it'll be nice to get extra confirmation right over here before breaking these lows. Then we can see like a really big push, most likely a juicy push. But if we move up, definitely need to create like, we definitely need to create some kind of structure over there by that 1 minute high. And once we do so, we're going to be able to trade this range here, which is about like 87 pips. And then you can still have a runner. The price can move from here to here, and from here to up over here is another, 175 pips. So those are the key things. I'm just waiting for price to kind of cook up right now, and then, then we're going to see what we're going to do. We got 10 minutes before the new hourly candlestick opens up. So I appreciate you all tuning into the stream. I will see you tomorrow. Take care, everybody. Adios.